It's a good start to the week for the United States.
In addition, yesterday we achieved a total reset with China.
U.S. and Chinese officials have reached a trade deal, but we're not out of the woods just yet. More on tariffs being lifted just ahead. Plus, another death in Port Aransas has neighbors questioning golf cart safety. Neighborhood News reporter Aaron Holly investigates the second golf cart-related death this year in Port A. KRIS 6 News starts now. And we thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Lascano, and of course we're going to get to those stories in just a moment. But first, we welcome in meteorologist Julia Quady because it's hot outside. It's near record-setting hot, you said.
Yes, near record-setting high temperatures reaching towards the low to mid-90s throughout portions of the coastal bend. Now record-breaking high temperature today here in Corpus Christi, but we'll get another opportunity tomorrow and the day after that. That heat's going to be here to stay just
Tell
because.
us about it.
Because we just got pretty much just a weather pattern that's going to allow us to see those increases, those higher temperatures that are going to be in the forecast for a prolonged period of time. But right now, let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions right now. First, taking care of this view and taking time to appreciate this view of Whitecap Beach. They are, of course, making in for some pool weather or beach weather, depending on what your fancy is. Looking at those current conditions here in Corpus Christi, sitting with a temperature of 90 degrees, 86 over in the Bluff as well as Rockport, 83 in Port Aransas, 91 degrees right now over in Beeville. All of us are seeing our winds kind of coming in a bit of a lighter fashion, maybe going close to nearby 15 miles an hour tops for our faster wind speeds. And as we can see right now, feel like temperatures aren't ranging too far away of where our air temperatures are currently sitting. Thankfully, it's because we're having a bit of a drier pattern at this moment, but it's not going to be set to last in the forecast head for tomorrow. But right now, thankfully, our heat risk is going to be on a minor stage just because of where our feel like temperatures are ranging at the moment. But towards tomorrow, all of us will be looking at a moderate risk for heat danger in the forecast. More details we can expect in that coming up.
All right, Julia, we'll look forward to that, but it's no secret now. Corpus Christi kicking off the week with these near record level highs and the heat just shy of breaking a record set in 2017. And while it might feel like just another day and hot day really in South Texas, emergency officials say this early heat could be a warning sign. With hurricane season just a few weeks away, now is the time to plan.
Have a family plan, right? Make sure you know what it is you're going to do, how you're going to take care of things, how your family is going to work together, a communications plan, what the evacuation routes are.
Officials also say planning ahead now can make all the difference, and they encourage families to stay weather aware and ready to act. Meanwhile, crews in Alice continue to clean up the aftermath of last week's severe weather. Crews are collecting brush all over Alice until the area is clean. And then the plan is to take the extra debris to Jim Wells County, to the fairgrounds there. The brush will be burned at a later date. Powerful straight line winds tore through the community last Thursday, ripping off roofs and knocking down trees. Over in Petronia, they're also rallying from Thursday's severe weather. Wind speeds of up to 115 miles an hour. 115 hit the area, leaving many residents devastated. Neighborhood News reporter Stephanie Molina spoke with one neighbor whose home was damaged.
All I can think about is how am I going to fix the house? We need to replace the roof. Is the roof going to fall on us? All my insulation in there is soaking wet. It's dripping. It's been dripping for days, and I have to take it out and replace it and fix all that.
So Nueces County Judge Connie Scott says the best way for folks in Petronia to get help, call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Well, an alleged incident involving inappropriate touching at the YWCA Corpus Christi has some parents concerned. The event allegedly occurred in January during an after-school program called YW Teens. Several female students in the program were swimming in the pool when a YWCA member touched one of the girl's stomach, saying he was helping her swim, even though the girl already knew how to swim. So the incident has left the girls feeling uncomfortable and their mother outraged.
And I'm not out here as a witch hunt or to smear somebody's name. I want answers. I want accountability, and I want a better response now, and I want a better response for the families and the children in the future.
The YWCA board announced that that member is no longer with the organization. Our Adam Beam will have the full investigation tonight at 6.
I'm Erin Holly, your neighborhood news reporter in Port Aransas. Here at the beach near mile marker K are flowers where a local woman died from what police say is a drunk driving accident. I'm speaking with law enforcement and neighbors about how this has affected the community.
We have a small community, less than 4,000 residents. So when one leaves like this, it's just, you don't even know what to say.
That one is 61-year-old Heather Miller, who police say was killed by a drunk driver while riding her golf cart on the beach Saturday night. Neighbors like Scott Tanzer say she was well known in this community.
I've known them for several years, and they're good folks, and it's just hard to swallow. I think it's just now kind of layering itself into the community of who it was.
Miller died at the scene. Police say George Bayerman, also a Port Aransas local, was in his pickup truck when he crashed into Miller's golf cart. He was arrested and charged with intoxication manslaughter.
It brings things a little bit closer to home when it's somebody from your community, is both parties involved are community members. So being a small town, everybody feels it.
Meanwhile, neighbors in Port Aransas tell me they just want to see fewer injuries and deaths involving drunk drivers and golf carts. Chief Stokes has investigated several golf cart accidents throughout the years.
Golf cart safety is a huge issue in Port A. It has been for many years.
I wish the budget was there for more police, more enforcement.
The Port A community mourning the loss of one of their own.
One, when you have a golf cart accident, it sucks. But then when you know them, it makes it even worse.
I asked the Port Aransas police chief if this crash will change how his officers patrol the beach. Chief James Stokes said no, but he'll move officers into their summer hour schedules. In Port Aransas, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Erin Holly, KRIS 6 News.
And Aaron, we appreciate that report. Now, this isn't the first time that Mr. Bayerman has been charged with an alcohol-related crime. According to court documents obtained by KRIS 6 News, Bayerman was arrested in December 2021 for driving while intoxicated, but his case was dismissed by the assistant DA for a few strange reasons. Among them, Bayerman had an episode because his girlfriend was cheating on him. Documents also show charges were excused because he was an electrician and had a black belt in karate. As of this afternoon, Bayerman was being held at the Nueces County Jail on a $250,000 bond. Now we have new developments in Sunday morning's shooting that left a 37-year-old man dead. Two 17-year-olds identified as Michael Gonzalez and John Salazar have been charged with murder for the shooting on Sherrill Drive. That's near Ayers and McCardle. According to an arrest affidavit, the victim, who appeared to be under the influence of drugs, arrived at a house on Sherrill Drive. A witness told police the man was asking about some money that was owed. An argument broke out and John Salazar pistol whipped the victim. That led to a fight, and it was then that police say the victim was shot. Well, it's a step in the right direction. After a weekend meeting, the United States and China have reached an agreement to slash tariffs in order to defuse the trade war. For an initial 90-day period, the U.S. will lower its overall tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%, while China will cut its levies on American imports from 125% to 10%. However, President Trump says the agreement does not include industries like cars or pharmaceuticals.
And it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that, or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back to the United States.
Now, experts are still warning consumers that supply chain issues could cause higher prices in the near future. But there are already some positive effects from the trade deal. Wall Street's main indexes opened sharply higher on Monday. The Dow Jones rose 1.5%, while the S&P 500 rose 2.6%. The surge comes as the truce between China and the U.S. is set to calm a market that was on edge for weeks. And it's a win for the Lone Star State. Google agreed to pay nearly $1.4 billion to settle lawsuits from the state of Texas. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued Google in 2022 for allegedly unlawfully tracking Texans and collecting their private data. Google did not admit any wrongdoing or liability in the settlement, but it comes nearly 10 months after Paxton obtained a $1.4 billion settlement from Meta. Parent company of Facebook and Instagram was accused of unauthorized use of user data from their popular social media platform. Well, there's some potentially big changes coming to medicine covered by Medicare. We've got the scoop for you when we come back.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
And welcome back. President Trump promising to reduce prescription drug costs, bringing back a plan that didn't get off the ground during his first term. Scripps News Group's Ava Joy Burnett explains how the new plan could affect the medicine you depend on.
President Trump aiming to cut drug prices for Americans, signing an executive order Monday giving the health secretary and other top officials 30 days to set new targets for price cuts across pharmaceutical markets in the U.S. The order potentially tying the price the government pays for some drugs to lower prices paid by other countries.
Starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries.
The White House did not detail which drugs the new policy would apply to, but officials said it would focus on drugs where there is the largest disparities between U.S. prices and prices abroad. That could include weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. U.S. drug prices are 2.78 times higher than prices in other comparable countries, according to a RAND report. The new policy could primarily affect the more than 70 million older Americans who are covered under Medicare. But it's unclear now exactly how sweeping its impact will be, according to Tricia Newman with KFF, a nonprofit health policy research organization.
This proposal, in my mind, could go one of two ways. It could either have a sweeping impact on the drug industry, drug prices, access to medication, if it's fully implemented for all drugs. Alternatively, it could be implemented in a relatively modest way, which may not have a decipherable effect for people.
Ava Joy Burnett, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Well, it's that time once again, folks. I'm tracking those gas prices all across the country for fluctuations, as well as here in the Coastal Bend to save you that extra little bit of scratch that can really add up. Let's start off with a look at the national prices. $3.08 according to Gas Buddy. That is actually down 4 cents since Friday. Actually, Lone Star State doing a bit better. $2.69 according to Gas Buddy, and that's down 5 cents since Friday. Well, we can do better here in the Coastal Bend, right? Take a look at the top prices. Third place goes to Valero on Morgan Avenue, $2.51. Second place goes to the HEB on Alameda. That's $2.49. And it seems like first place goes to nearly all, and literally nearly all the stations in Flower Bluff. So if you see anything more expensive than $2.44, keep on driving if you're in that area. As for our Portland friends, cheapest price is $2.61. But hey, if you head up to Rockport to the Circle K, those prices are actually $2.32. A bit better if you make that drive. As for our island friends, all of the stations that I monitor, well, they're all sitting at $2.59. So go out and fill up.
Brian Hoffman, thanks for that report. Now let's swing it over to Julia Quady one more time for a look at the rush hour traffic. Oh, Julia.
All righty, now taking it outside, looking at our Skycam over SPID, you can see those roadways are a bit busy. A lot of folks on those roadways, but still moving at a pretty great pace no matter which direction you're heading there. So go and take a look at those traffic flow maps, get a better idea we can expect for other roadways in the area. Heading from Portland over to the Harbor Bridge in both directions, looking at very easy, clear driving conditions at this time. Heading now towards downtown, mostly clear on Ocean Drive as well as on SPID. Heading on Saratoga, though, you can expect a bit of a mixed bag, some medium slow speeds that you'll encounter throughout each direction. Heading on over to Flower Bluff, pretty much clear for the most part on Waldron Road as well as on Flower Bluff Drive, just a bit of a mixture of median speed. Then heading on the JFK Causeway going to and from the island, you're going to be looking at easy driving times with no traffic issues. That's it for traffic. Hey there, good afternoon and welcome back. I'm meteorologist Julia Quady. Got ample sunshine in the forecast for us today and for the extended forecast for us throughout the rest of your work week. Right now, taking a look at our Whataburger Skycam of Whataburger Field. Got a gorgeous view of all those ample blue skies. There's a few passing clouds that will continue to be in the forecast even later on tonight. But the main story in our forecast today and extending throughout the rest of this week is going to be the sweltering heat that's going to progress and even worsen as we look ahead towards tomorrow and definitely by your Wednesday. Right now, looking at our current conditions, temperatures are already on the rise, reaching towards the 90s or even mid-90s throughout some of our inland neighborhoods. 90 degrees on the dot here in Corpus Christi, feeling like 87. 91 over in Robstown, feeling like 89. 95 over in Kingsville with a feel like temperature of 94. Over in Beeville, sitting at 91 degrees, but feels like 87. So that oppressive heat isn't quite kicking in just quite yet. We're still going to wait on an increase of some moisture and humidity that's going to make it feel way more oppressive ahead for us tomorrow. But the reason why we have this extended period that we're expecting the forecast of ample sunshine and intense summer-like heat is because this ridging that's going to be coming throughout the upper levels of our atmosphere basically is just going to promote high pressure, meaning clear blue skies, ample sunshine, and oppressive summer-like heat that we are going to feel throughout the rest of this week. So here's what else you can expect in your forecast this week. We'll be expecting near record or record-breaking high temperatures beginning in the forecast tomorrow. That's going to extend at least until your Wednesday and Thursday. Then we'll have that rise and increase in our dew point values, meaning our humidity is going to also kick up a bit towards that oppressive range towards the end of this week. So that means our feel-like temperatures, those are going to skyrocket towards the upper 90s or beyond the triple digits throughout some of our neighborhoods, so much so that we may see some heat alerts or excessive heat warnings going to affect throughout portions of South Texas. Also, we'll see an uptick in our wind speeds beginning tomorrow. Right now, we had a bit of a break of our winds going nearby 5, maybe up to 15 miles an hour. Head for tomorrow, though, we'll see our winds kick up a bit to around 20 or even up to 25 miles an hour, and that's going to stretch throughout the rest of our work week, too. Now, for our forecast high temperatures this week, again, for today, we recorded a high temperature of 93 degrees. Of course, just a bit shy of our record set back in 2017 of 94. We'll have another opportunity to see some record-breaking high temperatures tomorrow on your Tuesday. Have a forecast high temperature of 96 that could potentially knock down our old record set back last year of 93. And again, another potentially record-breaking high temperature day ahead for us on your Wednesday. Again, forecasting a high temperature of 96 degrees, also potentially smashing our old record of 97 degrees, also set back last year in 2024. So that heat's going to be a mainstay in our forecast, extending beyond your Wednesday, heading towards the latter days of this week into your weekend. Also see an increase in that moisture and humidity, getting back towards that very humid to oppressive range, again, meaning that's why we'll see a big uptick in our heat risk. Right now for today, we got a bit of a break only in that minor zone, but ahead for tomorrow, we'll see a majority of the coastal bend under a moderate risk for heat illnesses and heat danger, and then head for your next day after that, on your Wednesday, we'll see more portions of coastal bend, mostly inland neighborhoods, being in a bit of a mix of major to extreme risk for heat danger in the forecast. And like I mentioned, what we're expecting with those feel-like temperatures reaching towards beyond the triple digits, that is going to trigger a heat advisory that's already going to go into place for us tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock, including Jim Wells as well as Live Oaks County, going further on west. So again, just make sure you continue to practice that heat safety, because that's going to be a concern for us with the sweltering summer-like heat throughout most of our week.
In other words, caliente. It's a new day in Coyote Country. We're going to tell you about the big happenings in Alice when we come back. Well, out with the old and in with the new. That's the scene in Alice, as after nearly 80 years of Alice Memorial Stadium, the Coyotes are getting a new home. Groundbreaking held today for the new stadium, being funded by a bond passed in 2024. Superintendent Anissa Trevino tells us the new stadium will seat as many as 6,000.
We want this facility to help many generations to come. It was a team effort, and I think many thousands of students will enjoy it.
Yeah, you know they're going to pack that place on Friday nights for the home games. It's expected to be completed by May of 2026. Trevino also told us that next year's graduation will be the first event at the new stadium there in Coyote Country. All right, we hope you're having a good start to your new week. Stay right where you are, because we have more news from your neighborhood and a 7-day forecast from Julia Quady next.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
All right, so big changes coming to the way we all watch Netflix on our TVs and phones. Listen to this now. The streaming giant announced the major facelift of its homepage. It's been the same since 2013. The freshened landing page will move the main menu from the left-hand side of the screen to the center. Netflix says it's also going to begin testing generative AI-boosted search, along with a vertical video feed, TikTok style for mobile users. Viewers can expect to see the updates over the next few months, so get ready for that. Also, get ready for this heat wave that's coming. We've had heat and dry, which caused the fires. Then we've had the storms the last couple of weeks, and now we're getting back to what we all know what's
South
coming
Texas style
eventually.
heat, with all this heat and humidity really going to be coming into store for us tomorrow.
Yeah.
I feel like temperatures ranging towards the upper 90s, beyond the triple digits, so much so they already have heat alerts that are going to be issued and
And you
go into
figure
effect
that's here
for
to
tomorrow.
stay?
Oh, yeah, at least for this week for sure. At the
okay.
very least for this week.
All
So
right.
just make sure you guys are practicing up and utilizing their heat safety tips to keep yourself safe this week, because we got near record or record-breaking temperatures that will extend at least until Thursday. Things will cool down just a little bit ahead for this weekend, but if you're a lover of the heat like me, this is giving pool weather and beach weather for me, so I'm excited.
97 on Thursday. 97. She does. She likes the heat. All right. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us for Chris 6 News at 5. Come on back and join us for more news from your neighborhood at 6. See you then.